Okay, that's the end of the 4 times. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Failed Portrayal. Once more.
We've entered an alternate dimension, I think, or something.
Yeah. We've slipped into an alternate time stream. I haven't actually ever watched Arc 5, so I'm not sure how one goes about traveling between different dimensions, but...
Well, you build up a lot of dual energy.
Ah.
Mega, I have 2 jokes. One will destroy Australia, one might destroy us all. Which one's better?
Yeah.
I've transport us to a format where Loth can win consistently.
Nah, that's not true.
You know what?
I mean, yes, I understand. The joke is good. I don't think that's true, though. Sadly, I don't know if him drawing 4 cards every turn would work. He would find the 5 cards that he can't play.
Well,
Maybe you should play a deck where he has always has how that works.
Lothar managed to draw 5 equip spells somehow when he only put 4 in his deck.
What's this? I can't make ice ult. Also, I do want to warn everybody, if you're watching at home in chat, YouTube has been yelling at me about the bit rate. It's not getting enough juice. It says there's streaming. Nothing is wrong on my end, like no dropped frames and like no red lights or anything. So I assume it's just on YouTube's end and they're just being pissy. But if there is buffering, I apologize. Like I said, there's nothing different on my end at my computer, so you're just gonna have to wait till it clears up. But yes, we've entered the Rush dimension, the Rush Duels dimension.
Rush duels are really fucking cool. I really love the idea. Unfortunately, Konami just we can't be trusted apparently.
Yeah, that is one thing that because they even brought the video game over here, and I think it was fairly popular. And I know they added Rush to Duel Links.
Yeah, it was fairly well received, but we just never got any of the game's updates for some reason.
The game had content updates in Japan that just haven't been followed up over here. Rush Duels got added to Duel Links as well, but they still have not actually fired up on here. And actually, we've done a little bit of Rush content on this channel before. There's at least one stream of I think it was mostly me, X, and Marth, but there were at least one stream where we poked at EDO Pro's Rush Duel function and tried out some decks. That was, I think, at this point, probably a year and a half or 2 years ago. So like they have more cards, but yeah.
Yeah, it's over at least a year and a half.
I do also know that it's just rumor mongering right now, but it seems like speed duels are coming to an end because in another situation, Konami refuses to take speed duels into the Synchro era. So we've gotten like 5 Battle City boxes.
Yeah, here's the thing. There was a rumor, like, again, a year and a half, 2 years ago, that speed duels would be ending. And then they announced, like, 4 more boxes of speed duels that have all dribbled out. So we'll see. We'll see if they're willing to cash it in. Like, Duel Links has gone all the way to fucking Rush. So, like, and if you don't know, speed duel format is very much just Duel Links, but in paper. So that'll be very interesting to see if they do actually, like, cut it, or they do finally decide that it's been enough years that we can do 5D's nostalgia. I do not know what the demographics of speed duels is like for Konami. It's certainly not technically going to be aimed at younger people because, first of all, Yu-Gi-Oh! Is already officially marketed to 7s and up. This may explain why a thing happened this weekend, some of which you would know about. There was a DQ given at the Team YCS because somebody cussed on stream. Actually, I think wasn't it Sam from Team Samurai X?
It was Team Sam, yeah.
Yeah, and got a game loss because for some ungodly reason, Konami marked that stream as for kids in YouTube, which is dumb and bad. That's actually bad. That's bad for you. Don't do that.
The DQ did also cause a certain other thing. We don't need to talk about it. Ruxin won. Ruxin and his 2 clones won the 3v3.
Yes.
That's
never actually played a game ever. It's like,
if you don't get what we're talking about, we will not cover that because that, speaking of YouTube, that might be a little too into that. But do your own research about the players in Yu-Gi-Oh! But yeah, anyway, Speed Duels is in a really weird case. I don't know if Konami's genuinely aiming that at younger players. What it seems like is it's designed for, if not necessarily Yugi boomers, but like people who remember the card game as kids and want something that's like more curated, tighter focused, faster played, or if you onboarded through Duel Links and you're like, hey, okay, I get it. You're used to the curated style of Duel Links, you know, that kind of like focused system. You don't want to jump straight to full Yu-Gi-Oh.
I think we should also make a point that most people that are like that don't actually remember how Yu-Gi-Oh was because they only remember the.
I mean, that's not really relevant. But I mean, it's like I don't know who's actually buying speed duels. But it may be that they don't want to jump that bar, right?
Yeah,
but
5Ds is definitely a big hurdle, but also with how long it's been in Duel Links especially, it feels weird for them to be this hesitant about it.
Yeah, I mean, because you already have, because everything in Speed Duel is smaller, I think you're already limited to like 7 or 8 cards in extra anyway.
Yeah, I know in Duel Links it was weird where it was like you can increase your extra deck just by playing or something, but it is like 5 or 6 cards as your extra deck.
Yeah, so like in Speed, it's not a lot. God, I wish I could tell YouTube to. Okay, there it is. Okay, YouTube finally took away the error that's been going for like 10 minutes about how it's not receiving enough video juice for streaming. Okay, hopefully that's resolved. There's no longer a big yellow light on one of my monitors telling me that something is going wrong, and I'm like, what the fuck do you want me to do about it, YouTube? Anyway, sorry. Yes. So, yeah. Honestly, like, I think at this point, 5Ds is in the Yu-Gi-Oh! Nostalgia phase. Edison is one of our biggest Time Wizard formats. Like, Tengu Plate is another big one.
The 3v3 was Edison format.
Yeah, no. So, like, hopefully Konami looks at that and they can spin up some products. Unfortunately, with the way Speed Duels is, I think you might not see those products for a while. But, yeah. So, basically what we're saying is we're in a weird place where, like, I think there is room for a simplified, a fresh start game of Yu-Gi-Oh! If you want to play the truly unlimited format and just get in there, you can play, you know, normal Yu-Gi-Oh! Normal Yu-Gi-Oh! Has sub-formats now. Only one of them fucking matters, and it's Time Wizard. Because unless Konami wants to actually get off their ass and build ban lists for Deckmaster and Common Charity, those are solved formats.
Yeah, like at this point, Common Charity, like everyone knows what just the best like the 3 best decks in the format are, and if it's basically just like people have legitimates to not play those decks because they are just head and shoulders above the rest of the format.
It's like playing like old school GOAT. Like a lot of Time Wizard formats may technically be solved as well, but also some of them are not as solved as you thought. But other than releasing, you know, new sets with more cards that are in a common printing that will shake up that meta, Common Charity's basically solved. Deckmaster has been solved since day one because with no ban list, you just play Last Warrior from Another Planet and nobody does anything. Or other, like, there's nothing stopping you from picking a monster that is a Floodgate as your Deckmaster, which means the game isn't fun. That's probably why there have been no sanctioned Deckmaster events. And Duel of the Warlords is just your play off meta, which is fine. It's just, you know, like, people do that anyway, you know? So we're in this space where we could use some other rules. I know that. Yeah, good. But Deckmaster?
Deckmaster is such an interesting, like, alt format because it's basically, it is very clearly taking notes from a different alt format. From Magic the Gathering, EDH, Commander, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
Where you have this separate boss, this separate monster as like a boss, like separated from your deck. But yeah, like because Yu-Gi-Oh works in a different space where there are just some cards that are built-in Floodgate assholes, without them being sanctioned in any way. They warp the format around them. It's what happens.
And obviously, like, so I actually wanted to double check. Apparently, the fan format EDH has its roots back in the late 90s. So yes, the virtual world season of Yu-Gi-Oh is after EDH was a concept. I think it was still before Magic the Gathering officially adopted it as Commander.
Yeah, if I'm remembering right, EDH was started in a handful of Alaskan OTSs or something for some bizarre reason as just like an alt format.
Yeah.
And it just became this cult phenomenon. And in in the the early 2010s, Wizards went, oh, we can just make actual cards designed for commander decks now.
But yeah,
and,
the Deckmaster idea comes from a season of the anime. It was one of the only unique things about that season. But that was also back in old school vanilla Duel Monsters years. So the scariest guy you got was when the big five fusioned themselves into making 5-head dragon their Deckmaster, which didn't do anything because you fucking made Dragon Master Knight.
They also just made up Deckmaster abilities too.
Yes, no. Deckmasters had unique abilities rather than just that monster has its continuous effect all the time. Though, admittedly, one of them did play Jinzo as his Deckmaster, and it was an annoying floodgate.
Yeah, it's actually really funny because Blue Flame Swordsman's effect is literally taken from from Flame Swordsman's Deckmaster ability.
Yeah, so
in that series,
there's
to decreases it on attack to void up other monsters.
They've tried to do a little bit, but clearly Konami is not committed to making this a real thing. So it's just they gave you some guidelines if you want to kitchen sink it yourself. That's fine.
Yeah.
But we have room for Rush duels, I think, and Rush does have some very interesting things going for it. You'll see this when we talk about some of the cards, but it's designed to. Ironically, it's designed to play much faster and easier. Everything is once per turn. All of your effects are broken up into blocks of text, which are like, hey, you want to activate this effect? Here's your requirement. And then below that, here's your effect. So it's really easy to understand. But also because I feel like they kind of came from a place of oh, we're basically starting Yu-Gi-Oh! Over again. There's a lot of crazy stuff that they can put in this game that you can't do in modern Yu-Gi-Oh! Because it would be too much of a pain in the ass. And I will preface this because I don't know if he's thinking about it right now, but I may accidentally trigger one of Axe's neurons and he'll say it again. But we can't go back in time and change 4 different monsters types. We can't make Jinzo a cyborg type monster because he's already a machine monster and there's 12 different cards that support Jinzo as a dark machine. We could retrain him as a cyborg, but because Yu-Gi-Oh! Is in print and has been in print for 25 years, there's some baggage in the core card game you just can't get over without it being a huge pain in the ass for everybody in the design space.
It's why I've always... I don't say this much often. I don't say this very often. But I forever once... I don't know the right word for it, but... I endlessly support the idea of they make a digital version of Yu-Gi-Oh! Where it's just a heavy, total revision of the entire system, where they refine all the things and actually just fix all the cards they want to, so it's actually as a central balance core, just as a showing of principle.
I mean, that's cool, but also then they'll just turn it off after 5 years and it doesn't make any money, or they'll break it all over again and nobody will want to play it. I believe, isn't it Legends of Runeterra is just fucking shutting down? After 2 or 3 years.
Because it was very generous with its players, so it's never got a way to hook people into paying for it.
Yeah, no, but that's the thing. I appreciate the sentiment, and I do wish Konami would go back to the old school era of being creative with some of their Yu-Gi-Oh! Video games. And again, we'll see how their bundles of old Game Boy and Game Boy Color games sell. But in general, Rush Duels is a great way to just be fuck it, we're starting over. You still get your references. They have this thing called Legends, which you can only include one of in your deck, which is lets you play old school retro cards. You can play Mirror Force. You can play Pot of Greed as your one of legend. Shit like that. Not that Pot of Greed's even a very good card in Rush Duels because you draw a lot more.
Interesting. I pulled up the legend category. In the very top, in the top of the poll, one that stands out, doesn't belong, is a Phantasm Spiral Dragon. Not to say it's not iconic, but it's next to Blue Eyes, Dark Magician, Red Eyes.
Yeah, because he's a big dumb normal monster. Yeah.
Yeah, and just Phantasm Spiral Dragon.
But like Rush Duels has a lot of this built in. It's got a lot of clean stuff. Like I said, you straight up draw up to 5 cards every turn. So the games are meant to be a lot more fast-paced. They're a lot more rewarding. I believe, is it also you can keep normal summoning in
yes.
Rush?
It's basically flipped where there's 1 special summon per turn, but
usually because your effects are hard like that, you are not usually special summoning multiple times, but you can keep normaling.
Well, I believe every effect is hard-coded as a once per turn. Right?
Yes, no, they all say like once per turn like that. So it's simplified, it's streamlined, it's sped up, and it's a lot of fun. We've played a few ideas, and also it has its own unique flavors and a lot of different art style because the cards are like redesigned to be more modern and clean, more readable. Maybe that's why they won't bring it over here. They don't trust American Yu-Gi-Oh! Players with the ability to actually understand what cards do. They have to keep giving us blocky, mealy-mouthed bowls full of text to stumble through. You know? If you give Farfa, Gage, and Mr. Zeef Rush Duel cards, how will they make funny content in Master Saga, where they don't read the UI?
They just won't read the cost, and they'll think they can activate the effect.
Yeah, I don't know, but like I said, yeah. So all in all, it's a lot. It's a very interesting game. It's fun. I'm in a position in my life where even with Yu-Gi-Oh, I can't afford to be buying boxes of cardboard crack all the time. So like, I can't say that I personally would physically support this product, but I think there's room out there, and certainly I feel like much like with Master Duel, every fucking Yu-Gi tuber would be like, all right, cool, here's a Rush starter set. We're going to buy like 9 of these and open them. Like, there's a hook in the market. But let's actually, we've been here for like 20 minutes somehow going back and forth. But Rush is interesting, and that's why this kind of came up. Vesper pitched this as their suggestion for our monthly Patreon poll for Fail Portrayal. If you support us on Patreon or support this channel, at the $5 or higher, $5 tier or higher, I should phrase that. You can vote in the monthly topic poll, and we got a lot of these. Technically, it was a tie. The vote stayed with Valkyrie and Seven's Road tied, but I mentioned this before that because we've never done a Rush episode, and it would be very unique, I would probably pick that for the tiebreaker anyway. And here we are. So let's pull up the one of anyway, the original boy. This game has only been out for like 4 years. And already your main guy has, like, a bunch of alt arts.
I mean, it's easier, and there's the thing, because it's, like, technically you just more printings of it, really.
I mean, yes, but also that means they're reprinting acts. Like, how do you think we get alt arts over here? It's just that they are very rapid pace with this. I don't think there were actually that many different, like, dark... So, Seven's Road, to kind of circle back around to the beginning, Seven's Road is the basically the iconic archetype of the main character of the original Sevens, and there's some other characters who use it as well. But the main guy, Seven's Road Magician, who appears as kind of his ace monster, is definitely a stand-in for Dark Magician in this universe. Though you can also play Dark Magician, funnily enough, with this archetype, because he's also a Dark level 7 spellcaster.
Yeah, and the archetype itself is Dark spellcaster.
Yeah. Is
the gimmick. I believe they have some effects that play with other attributes, and I was looking at just kind of like a glance down through the main character's deck list, and he was just playing a bunch of the vanilla there's like a suite of six all the attribute vanilla sorcerers that he played as extra spellcaster bullshit.
Also, for comparison, so by the way, the bad image I had before was the seal of the Seven's Road. So they have 7 sigils and stuff. Here's what an actual Rush Duel card looks like. You've got your information down here. You've got your clear boxes which tell you the requirements and then the effect. You've got your typing. Your attack and level stats are actually up here on the top of the border, and they simplified it so you don't physically count stars. You still got your attributes up here. and kind of like a slightly enlarged border to give you a more clean, more modern text box. And some of these guys, though, get crazy. Like, here, for instance, is another alternate art. So that's like the all foil, and it's the fucking, busting out art. You can't read his name at all. You can barely see the attribute behind the fucking image of this guy busting out.
This is one of those cards that you would probably still have to have the regular one on hand as a proxy to like show it's like this is the guy.
Yeah.
You can't read this shit.
But this is something that Rush does do better, is they have a slightly more modern way of doing card layouts and alt arts and different types of foil, so it does the kind of thing like you see in modern Pokemon, for instance, where they have, full card arts. I don't think Rush is quite to the point where they've got, like, everything is fucking rainbow-colored hollows or stuff like that yet, but they've got some of the stuff that Yu-Gi-Oh! Does with, like, gold breakouts and stuff, so very flashy, lots of things going on. So it should make no surprise that, like I said, as he is the kind of, like, main character's iconic guy, his ace, as we like to say, his core monster, there are a lot of different arts of him. This is the primary one. Art style-wise, this guy definitely says that he is a Yu-Gi-Oh! Protagonist guy, because he's dressed like Dark Magician, but also he's got a weird flaming eye patch, and he's got a weird cut-out bodysuit, which shows his belly button and one of his hips.
He's got 7 belt buckles.
Yes.
He's got, like... Where to put this, but... how do I put this?
He's got a scarf and a cape.
It's got the Takahashi, like, clothing aesthetic, but it's also, like,
You
modern...
could just say BDSM.
Well, it's like modern J Idol or like J model stuff.
Oh yeah, no. This is much
it's
more
like
modern
Rocky and Kazahaki.
This is a lot more modern and sleek, but yes, no. This has that old school Yu-Gi-Oh feel because it's got like big bold lines, but it's all like tight, smooth, shiny leather. And he's got a weird sword staff.
It's got Kaz's like neo leather like aesthetic, but it's also like look, it's like.
And I don't know for sure.
It also looks like a Rocky clothing to me.
I assumed that Kaz was consulted, like with anything that's Yu-Gi-Oh branded, but I don't know if he had any direct input on the art design of Sevens.
It just has kind of clothes, you know.
Yeah, no, it's just inspired by vibes, but
I do recall, at least in the manga situation, and a mangaka is assigned to write the story, and they discuss with Takahashi.
Okay.
On like plot points and how to do things, but he only really has like a kind of a hands-off approach.
Yeah.
Yeah, a consulting.
So that definitely shows, I think, in some of the influence for this design. But yeah, he's a guy. There's a big iconic sigil behind him that's kind of part of their mystique.
He's got a big ass sword.
Yeah, as we've discovered, like you would expect with every Yu-Gi-Oh anime, there's a whole thing here. Like, this is not just like, and I'm not entirely sure, but I think this is just the backstory of one of the characters from Sevens. But there's one girl in Sevens who just likes giant construction equipment, and that's her deck. I don't think that goes any deeper than that. I'm pretty sure it doesn't go past that.
I was saying this off stream in the sequel series. There's a group of like 6 siblings who all challenge the main characters for whatever reason, and they all have a deck that is themed around their hobby. One of which is into baseball. So obviously she plays as a deck full of the Gagaga, Zubaba, and Dododo guys, and also Utopia as a baseball player.
Yes, the classic reference.
Why not?
I mean, because they're numbers, and like, what's the biggest number thing? Baseball.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like, but there's a whole thing going on. The short version is that the narrative of the Sevens Road is that there is a guy who is supposed to be the Sevens Road magician, who is told by an old man that he must find the 6 other people who have colors. They have the Sevens power. They need to break open 7 more roads, and they will create the future or something, and defeat chaos. We're gonna kill chaos.
Yeah,
I have to say it. I'm right here. Yes. So
yeah,
there's a lot of wizards and magicians and stuff going on.
Just like to point that out about what Sphere was saying. It was just think you meant to say more so as another. What's the word for?
Spin-off series?
Not a spin-off series. Not. It was still Yu-Gi-Oh! 7. It's another arc.
Well, it's separated as Go Rush.
No,
as,
actually,
like,
that's wrong there because Yu-Gi-Oh! Go Rush is about Yu-Gi-Oh! Which has an entirely different format.
Let me actually see.
does it?
Yeah. There's like 92 episodes of Yu-Gi-Oh! 7s. The later half of Yu-Gi-Oh! 7s had the 6 siblings, which all have Yuha as their name. And there's a reason why this whole book, The Sevens, is there. It's because it's sort of... It has a whole spoilerific sort of thing to it because there's pages ripped out of the book.
Oh, I'm not entirely sure of this, but this confusion may have come up because there is a follow-up game to the game, which is the Psycho Battle Royale Let's Go Go Rush.
Oh yeah,
and there is art for that's where the player 39 got added to that. The only mark I see from him in the anime is actually from the Sevens series.
Yeah, he was in that one, and Go Rush is simultaneously a sequel and also a prequel.
Of course.
Yeah. Hey, guess what? There's time bullshit in Sevens because why wouldn't there be?
There's a lot of like, hey guys, I won't talk about exactly how because again, if you want to know more about it, you can just go watch Rush. Go watch Sevens. Go watch the Rush anime. But there's a lot of card games as metaphors for stuff happening in real life occurs, and Sevens Road Magician is part of this like process of analogy.
Yeah. In the meantime, CEO Bridge is doing way more dark stuff than Golf has ever done.
I have accidentally closed all my associated tabs. Hold on.
Which is sort of funny because you think of Gallows being the dark one with all the carding and whatnot and death.
Yeah, so we got Sevens Road up here. We've already seen his stats. He's a dark spellcaster.
Yes.
His effect.
Well, I didn't say what his attack is actually, because that would be relevant.
Well, it's on screen.
Okay, yeah, you can see the card. That's right. Yeah, so you can see that. So you might actually see that, like, you think, oh, he's a little weak for like a normal protagonist monster. No.
He will mill a card from your deck to your grave, and for the rest of the turn, he will get 300 attack points he will get 300 attack for every monster with a different attribute in your graveyard.
Yeah, so if you have one attribute in your graveyard, which you probably do because he is a 2 tribute, you will, have at least 24, and if you've got 2, it goes up again, it'll be 27, and so on and so forth. This is a pretty good effect for again, a main character's kind of like core ace monster. Like, if you just get 3 different attributes, you're as big as a Blue Eyes White Dragon, or your local equivalent, and so on.
Yeah, and like I said earlier, he plays this. They play a suite of vanilla alt attributes spellcasters to stay in line with the spellcaster deck that he's playing.
Yeah,
because there's and there is, like I said, there's a lot of generic spellcaster support, and also we'll probably show off the card art because that's related as well. But there's a whole series of road magic. One for each attribute, basically, is how it's keyed. But those all proc just in general when you have level 7 spellcasters. Some of them might also say they have to be dark, but I think it's mostly just level 7 spellcasters. Sorry, I only looked at these cards like once today. We'll, get into it as we get into it. But they are still like semi-generically keyed. And for instance, the wiki even says, hey, you can run the legend card, regular-ass Dark Magician in this deck because he's a level 7 dark spellcaster too. And a lot of your generic cards key off that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
but also, yes.
Each of the road magics, you have to have a level 7 or higher spellcaster and sending one of that card's attribute to activate the that attribute's road and magic.
But yes, the way the way the monster cards are formatted is it's requirement, and for instance in Seven Roads it's send the top card from your deck to the graveyard, and then effect. What happens then, which is a great way to block it all out. All right. Well, somehow we're on our first card and we've managed to talk for like 30 minutes. So I'll grab the next card
We'll
art.
speak to the rest as we finish the preamble.
And I'll step away, but oh god.
But yeah, like the big preamble is just trying to describe how Rush is just it's not the same game at all.
Yeah.
And it's
it's not the same game at all, and it's starting to get more complicated, but not quite yet.
yeah, because I
believe they still only have they eventually introduced fusion, but they have not yet done any equivalents of other extra deck summonings.
Yeah, they have not, but they have started introducing Miracle Fusion.
Okay.
Yeah, like the big gimmick that Rush Duel has as its unique thing is, at least in Sevens, I don't know if they kept it going, but the maximum summon,
Yeah,
where there's basically three parts of a card that if you summon all in order, the card will like take up all three slots, be a big asshole, and have a stronger effect.
Yeah, you're right about that. They did Go Rush continue that, but it was introduced after Fusions and Go Rush, which was sort of a flip around.
Yeah, an interesting little way to do it, but yeah. So they do have a unique summoning mechanic that's unique to them.
Apparently, it all came from this strange, glowy powered rock that was in Sevens.
Delicious magic rock. I'm
decided
going to
to
step
card
away
people.
again because I we go for like 30 minutes and we're not very far. But I will leave the three of you with this is Sevens Road. Sorry, there's a plural on Sevens. Wiz.
Wiz.
Yeah, this is our level 1 asshole. I will be honest, I read his effect earlier and I do not understand.
Yeah, I'm trying to.
Like it sounds straightforward, but it also sounds incredibly specific. It sounds way too anime.
I'm trying to remember what episode this card appeared in.
So he's like he's all these guys are dark spellcasters. Is the main thing.
Okay, so this card appeared in episode 53. Oh, against the character named Swirls played this against Otas.
Yeah,
I'm not going to spoil who Swirls is because Swirls is Swirls.
The cost, you discard a card, and you change the original attack of one face-up level 8 or lower monster on your opponent's field with the same attack as this card to 0 until the end of this turn.
Yeah.
Then if you have Sevens or Magician in your graveyard, you can draw a card. So this guy's a 1k asshole who can only fuck with other 1k assholes, which usually your opponent's not going to leave that on their board because they don't want to leave a little guy on their board if they can help it.
Yeah.
All right, I'm back. Yes, so this is, like I said, this is Wiz. I don't remember if we mentioned explicitly or you guys brought it up while I was away, but also, yes, this is an archetype that you would think that they would, like, all be different attributes. No. That's not how we run this. We have other cards be the other attributes, but they are, the actual Seventh Road cards are all leveled 1 to 7.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Wiz guy being our number 1.
Yeah, it makes sense later on why all these are dark.
Yes, but they count up, so they have have that kind of synergy. So yeah, did you guys talk about what his effect actually is already?
Yeah, he changes the attack of a monster on the opponent's field, but it has to also have 1,000 attack to work.
Yeah, because it's based on it's the same as his attack, and if you have Seven Roads Magician in your graveyard, you draw a card, which can be helpful. I guess is the idea to like summon this guy, blank out an opponent's big monster, and then like draw into a bigger guy.
I do know I do know that one of the other guys can special Sevens Road from the graveyard, so I assume the setup is like, oh, you you plop down Wiz, you discard Seven's Road, change a thing, draw a card, and you build up into your Wombo combo to set up a big asshole Seven's Road to dunk on your opponent. And there's 7.
Oh, also,
there's
by the way, I
0
should mention,
attack.
because that you'll see this as some of the alt arts out there. There was a Yu-Gi-Oh! 7-11 official corroboration where each of these guys, or not each of these guys, but like 4 of them and like a couple of different Karibos. Or are those? I mean, I'm gonna be honest. I'm looking at these other guys. They look like Karibongs. And you think I'm joking, Chad? I'm not joking. But yeah, 7-11 did 7 alternate art parallel rares, which included 4 of the Seven's Road monsters.
I was wondering why, because the background of the collaboration cards, I'm assuming it's the one that just has a white background with a red, green, and orange stripe, right?
Yes.
I might have been missing out because I've been I ended up doing some research into something else. That's not relevant.
Yeah.
Is each 7 rows a different element?
No, they're all dark.
No, they're all dark spellcasters.
Oh, okay. I saw the fire thing. And
their magic represents different elements, but they themselves are dark because there's stuff going on. You got to kill chaos.
There's 6 elements in Divine, so.
With Wiz.
No, there's only 6 roads magics. Divine's not in 7's design.
He was very covered up, but it is a decent little a little dude with a little magic dude.
So this is meant to be all combined.
There's stuff.
Actually, no, I don't think so. Because the main thing is their colors.
Yeah. Just to spoil it a little, the Seto Kaiba analog to Rush Duels, Ota's created the 7th roads.
Yes. Well, and and they even talk about, I mentioned earlier that in the narrative of the book that the 7th Road Magician is based on, there's like an old man who tells the magician to go do stuff, and then he was the bad guy all along. Who knew?
I'm the Lord of Chaos all along.
So that is also analogous for that character. Otes,
which is
and
funny sometimes.
So it's a little.
Which is funny sometimes. Like one of the characters actually tried to disqualify the main character from a duel by blocking every single people from looking up if a card was actually legal or not. So it was like, yeah, your card is actually illegal. Well, block every search to say it was legal or not.
But yeah, the primary thing is this is not a mechanical 7, other than their levels climbing up, but they each represent a color of the rainbow. It's in fact that simple.
Yeah.
The funny thing is that they do kind of go in an interesting route where so Wiz was yellow. This is 7's Road Mage is the card art I pulled up right now. That's green, obviously. Magician himself is orange. So orange is not usually a color I associate with like a protagonist, especially out of works out of Japan. We're really key on usually either the red guy or the blue guy being the leader, and especially we like the red guy because I'm pretty sure that Japan assumes that at some point small children have seen a Sentai.
Funnily enough, the red color will come up pretty late.
Yeah.
And it will not be the one people are thinking, I'm assuming.
Probably not. No.
Sorry,
but
I'm just flashbanged by the fucking shoes this kid is wearing.
These are some Yu-Gi-Oh! Ass shoes. These are some Yu-Gi-Oh! Ups.
Like,
he's got some Dark Magicians right now.
No.
Yeah.
The size of those compared to like his tiny frame makes it seem like he'd have to take like big steps to just ensure it doesn't fall off.
Why does it feel like? Why does it feel like this is the one that was the smug one? It's like, yeah, I can do all this stuff.
Expression.
Omega, I hope you understand you've you shoved in my brain the idea of the kid has uncreasable air darks.
He's gonna crease your darks, your dark magicians, man. I don't know a lot about sneaker culture, but I know some of the jokes. But yeah, so I think it's a little more clear with Mage here. This is definitely because Wiz was kind of all bundled up. This is definitely more of the same vibe that 7's Magician has, but also now we've introduced a classic Yu-Gi-Oh! Kaz style pointy hat that also spits fire.
Because why not?
And we got some glasses. We got some the chains.
Coming up. This is our level 2.
Yes. And ironically, technically has worse stats than the 1. This is a level 2 Dark Spellcaster that's 8/8. We will check in to make sure that in case anything changes, but just assume most of them have the requirement to mill the top card of your deck. And then Mage says, if a face-up level 7 or higher monster in your opponent's... Oh, sorry. The effect is one face-up level 7 or higher monster in your opponent's field loses exactly 400 attack until the end of this turn. Then it loses an additional number of attack, which is equal to the number of spellcaster-type monsters in your graveyard times 100 until the end of this turn, if 7-Sword Magician is on your field. So
and that is not different. That is just the number of spellcasters in your grave.
This is probably a lot better of a card than Wiz. Wiz is like 0 out a 1k guy. This is, if your opponent has a big bungus on the board, you can just be like, no, he is no longer big. Because it minimum loses 400.
A Wiz has to discard a card, which, while not the worst effect in Rush because you refill your hand, a milling a card is way better because you're not taking away your own resources in your hand.
And in fact, if you mill a spellcaster, that's just all names, baby. It's like playing a grass deck. You're just like, no, you're good. Wait, I wonder when was this card printed? Let me check. No, this was part of like 2020, so some of this strat was there. Sorry, I'm just having a weird brain blast. Did Konami think of tier limits in the core game because they were like, oh, this self-mill thing in Rush Duel is pretty cool. What if we applied that to the base game?
Oh no,
And we just went way off the deep end. We got lost in the sauce.
It's like,
But yeah, if you have anything else to say about Mage, go for it. Otherwise, I will grab the next card art.
I'm just looking right now. No,
I can
one,
appreciate
two,
that he
three,
has like
4,
3 different
5,
shades of green going on.
Yeah,
Oh,
we'll play around
right.
with
This
green.
guy also has the 7 rings as well. So
Yes.
7 roads.
I think
And
most people have that look.
Oh yeah, and the thing about roads is that that's the main character's way of saying inventions.
Yes, road is a metaphor.
Yeah. Which...
Okay.
The path of life and everything like that.
Yeah,
I'm
it's
gonna pull up our next
interesting.
card art just because there's some very funny trivia. So this is our next one. It's a little large, so hold on. Let's check that out. See what
That's...
percent. This is
What?
Enchanter.
Let me pull up the trivia for this guy.
Well, I can
Sky
tell you the love of mine. This monster's gun-like device is likely based on the Ultra Hand, which is spaced out. Don't come after me, Nintendo.
Is this meant to be a boy or a girl?
A
I can't
toy
tell.
which uses the lazy tongs. I assume this is male. I think they like alternate. I'm not sure though.
Yeah. But and regardless, it's just-
The art style
They got a
of
they got a punch gun.
Sevens is pretty noodly.
This is secretly the inventor
I
and the
I believe,
Mage.
like tradition in Yu-Gi-Oh, we do have the token girl, which will come up later, as our dark magician girl of sorts.
And I'm not
but-
entirely
had
convinced that
both of them.
Mage isn't female as well. But it's like I said, most of these guys in Seven Roads are just the Rush art style is simplified's not necessarily the word, but like everybody is drawn kind of like soft and very modern. So like a lot of they're kids, so like they're drawn kind of androgynous no matter what.
Yeah, no,
So-
the main cast in Sevens and Go Rush, like they are children. Like in other series, it's kind of vague of like teenagers and such.
Yeah, and
like
depending on the
teenage adult.
season of Yu-Gi-Oh! And the exact art style, a lot of them have the classic shonen issue of like, well, our protagonist is said to be 15 because that's our target demographic. You know, that's the number they like is a freshman in high school. But, you know, everybody who's not Yugi is like 6 feet tall.
yeah.
In Rush, like they are like 10-year-olds. Like I don't know
and
the exact
they
age,
look
but
like
they
it. They're
are
all
they are
squiggly.
children. They look
Meanwhile,
like
the
like-
adults look like barely tolerable
I mean,
too.
there's even a joke that like some actual like 50-year-olds just look like 10-year-olds in the show.
Well, yes.
Yeah, that's
she looks
true as
young,
well.
but yeah. Enchanter's color is marked as cyan, which I think is a slightly better one than indigo. But yeah, so we got like the marks there. I'm not really sure exactly what's going on with like drawing like the flaming hand rune with the hand, but it looks cool with the flaming fingertips.
I do also like the kind of eye motif going on with Enchanter, where his 7 buckles
Yeah.
kind of form an iris. There's like an eyeball in the palm of his
Yeah.
Generic Ultra hand.
Yes. I got a monocle over one eye, but the opposite side with his little headband looks like it's got another eye that's spitting the flame.
Yeah,
and Seven Roads himself had like an eye motif hidden in his coat, but it was a lot subtler, you know.
Yeah, Enchanter saw that single motif and said that I am now going to design my entire aesthetic after that one piece.
But yeah, so this is our level 3, Dark Spellcaster, you know, as always. 1200 attack, 100 defense. Requirement is to send a card to the top card of your deck to the graveyard. And its effect is return 1 face-up, non-level 3 Spellcaster monster from the field to the owner's hand. Then if you return a card whose original name is Seven Roads Magician by the end of this effect, draw a card. So it lets you bounce your own Seven Roads Magician if you want to get more card advantage, or if your opponent is playing spellcasters, you can just bounce theirs back.
You can +2.
Yeah. So not a crazy good effect because, you know, in like normal play, but it has funny counterplay, and this is an anime archetype, so you're gonna have some weird tech cards in there, and still I think usable just because, like I said, it lets you recycle your own Seven Roads Magician back to hand, and then you can draw a card, so you can like reset your card advantage basically.
Yeah, the few things I understand about Rush Duel, because I have no full frame of reference for like the meta, but drawing cards is good until it isn't. Basically, which is a weird way to phrase it. But you want to get rid of as many cards in your hand as possible by the end of your turn, so you just draw 5. But sometimes drawing cards is good to just keep pressuring advantage and tempo.
I assume the way it works is basically no matter what, you want to play as many cards as possible. Therefore, if you can draw more playable cards, that's still good. Like, you're still plussing at the end.
Yeah, that's true. The biggest thing that you can do to your opponent that is detrimental to them is sending their cards back to their hand.
Yes, which Enchanter does do. Like, if your opponent's playing a spellcaster that's not level 3, you can bounce their own cards back.
Yeah, Enchanter's definitely feels like a kind of like sideboard card.
Yeah.
If it was like really good or like competitive.
Is it weird to say that I feel like in Rush, sending cards back to your opponent's hands actually one of like the best ways to video?
Yeah,
that is indeed what Marth just said.
Yeah, Marth just said.
That was the text of what he just said. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I agree with the point that it is very good. And that does make sense because like bouncing back to hand in a regular Yu-Gi-Oh is good but not perfect. It depends on whether or not, you know, the opponent has used that card to its fullest. In Rush, you are actively impacting your opponent's card advantage in a way that, say, spin back to deck doesn't.
Yeah, and it's especially good for if you're wanting to bounce back a card before they can do Fusion Summon. Which, most of their cards tend to use the card Fusion, which is not Pulley.
Yes, so, if there's nothing else to say about Enchanter...
Yeah.
We can grab our next guy.
Yeah.
It's the blue one, Sorcerer.
Blue.
Now, you may mistake for a second and think that he's holding, like, forks or something. No, he's got, those are very classical, like, they're made of metal for some reason, but those are classical, like, Japanese shikigamis. He's doing occult stuff right now.
Oh, yeah.
He's got metal familiars, yeah.
Yeah, the cold stuff, the shady smile that every guy does when they have their kid down.
Yeah, it's funny to me that this is the blue one.
The Link's protagonist.
Yeah, like I said,
like
this is funny to me that this is the blue one. That said, otherwise, this is just like the exact same aesthetic as Seven Roads Magician. Just now he's blue. Like,
well, and like even going back to Seven's Road Mage, this is just a dark magician.
Yes,
like this is just like dark magician aesthetic.
We, Rada and Jimbles when doing their very big, pathetic aesthetic on all the number monsters. Talked about, Utopia Sonas, right? Like Utopia type objects. This guy just is a dark magician type guy. He's got the boots, he's got weird knee pads, he's got the hat. You can't see all of his
Right.
face.
I do love the set. I'm just gonna call them belt buckles. Just gonna keep calling them that because
Yeah.
that's what they were with Magician.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do like it hanging off his hat as like an almost earring sort of thing.
Yeah.
But also that has to get in the way, right?
Yeah, no. If it, I'm not. Yeah, no. Actually, it is definitely. This is the part right here where it's connected to the hat. But yeah, that's got to be annoying to constantly have those gold rings weighing down on exactly one side of your head.
But you just like if you do one wrong motion, like it's just all gonna like slap against like your arm and your
Yeah,
chest
no.
and your luggage
If
gonna
he has to turn his
fumble
head
around.
like left suddenly, he is absolutely gonna wrap that chain around his own. Actually, no. It'd be right or left. But you might accidentally wrap that around one of your arms. You're gonna constantly be like banging into your own belt buckle, making a huge racket.
Yeah, like it only looks cool because it's not in motion.
But
Basically.
it still works because it's a big,
Yeah.
It's part of the fashion aesthetic. Like these guys are a
Yeah,
little extra, so it works out.
It is one of the one of the connecting design elements through the Seven's Road monster.
And it totally
This
fits the
happens to be
fashion vibe.
this happens to be the most unfortunately placed one.
So Sorcerer is the 4, and it may shock you. Not that I have a huge grasp on how Sevens breaks up, Rush breaks up the stats, but this is a level 4 spellcaster with only 1,300 attack and 100 defense. So feels a little anemic for the level, but its requirement is actually to send 3 face-up monsters from your field to the graveyard, which I'm pretty sure, since this doesn't say you can do this while this is in your hand, he has to send himself and 2 more guys. But you do get to special summon a level 7 or lower spellcaster monster from your graveyard face up to your field. And if you special summoned 7 Roads Magician by this effect, you can also special summon 7 Roads, which we haven't gotten to yet, but you can guess what she's like based on where this archetype is going from your graveyard to your field.
I am looking at the list of level 4 monsters that are in Rush Duel. There really aren't that many above like 1,500.
Yeah.
And the ones that are like legends.
Yeah,
Okay, so
just
they kept it kind of
to
balanced.
yeah, to point that out, it's just like they made a big point about that, and Go Rush is like, oh, you can't have a monster that's 1,500 or more. You'll have to tribute summon. I have this trap card that will stop you. And
looking at vanillas.
And the main character just summons Transmute Rhynac and just goes like, hey, this is 1,600.
Yeah, looking at the vanillas, like the biggest one is a 1,600, the Transma Rhynac, who is a vanilla with 3 alt arts.
Yes,
Yeah.
because that's the guy that's card that's based on Udius.
And the biggest effect monsters aren't even effect monsters. It's Dark and Light Effigy.
That's cute. But yeah, so
So they're functionally vanillas.
when you have unlimited normal summoning, you don't actually need good stats on low-level monsters. You just need them as starters, and then you're just like, fuck it, I'll tribute a level 5 guy.
And most time now it's just like, hey, I have all these effects that just special summons.
Yeah, so Sorcerer still is a pretty good card because he lets you, if you've already like done your combo, and I don't know anything about ratios in Rush Duel, right? Like I said, I've played the game a little, but I don't know what the meta is like. But like, if you've already run through your whole combo, and for some reason your 7's Road Magician and your Witch are in grave, Sorcerer just lets you burn off 3 weenies in your board, which you don't care about, right? Because again, you want cards out of your hand to bring back your key playmakers. So
Yeah, and
it's fairly solid, I think.
Yeah, it's fine. Like attack stats, like Rush is probably the actual exception to our rules, where this is the one where stats don't actually matter with a lot of your babies, because you want to be playing like tribute monsters, or at least monsters that can get rid of your babies.
Yes, you don't have to worry about normal summoning a little guy and then stopping there like you do in normal Yu-Gi-Oh. Alright, so
Boy
now we're
has
moving
a
on
cool
to Warlock.
fan of war.
This is one of those cases where I'm like, I'm not even sure if this is a boy or girl. I don't know.
Does the exposed midriff give them extra power?
Probably.
I think it's a boy.
I'm assuming with it being a warlock, it's meant to be male, because Warlock is generally
It'd be
imitated.
weird if it was girl, I think.
Yeah.
I will say though, all of the Sevens Road are basically in English, translated into Japanese. This is Sevens Road Woroku. Or probably it's a long O,
Warrock?
so whoa Woroku. It's a long O. But yes, it does kind of sound like saying Warrock. But yeah, so it's probably, but it's hard to tell. Like I said, a lot of these guys are fairly generic in that. This with the purple definitely, again, still gives me old school Yu-Gi-Oh vibes. Like thinking of Eradicator Warlock and stuff, like some of those weird spellcasters who are all purple. The fan is cool, and it has a little eyeball in it, but also that could be a weird goat head.
It's also vaguely reminiscent of Symbol of Heritage. I don't know if that's intentional or not.
Yeah. This one has a very practical placement for the belt buckle chain links being on one of the shoulders with the cape.
They're also much smaller than any of the others.
Yeah.
I feel like this one gives off the rival look.
Yeah, I was actually also gonna say that. Yes, like this definitely has some rival energy, like being kind of the off one. I do love the purple with the little gold highlights, though. Very good. And all in all, a good
is
assemblage.
always good.
All we need now is some orange. We can get the full package.
And I do want to say, I do like how Warlock is asymmetrical, right? Like even though the cape flows behind, it's worn over one shoulder, and it's the same with like the hip cape or skirt type area. So like it's nice. It's a cool little addition. And on the right, it is both physically the on the right hand extending out that way, and also is on the correct side for you doing that.
It's a good asymmetric design that has a good handle on what it's trying to do.
So, Seventh Road Warlock is your level 5, 1100 attack, 1700 defense. So again, we're actually getting into some of the higher stats. This one has a somewhat unique requirement out of the list in that you need to send a trap card from your hand to the graveyard, so you discard a trap. But the effect is add a level 7 or higher dark spellcaster from your graveyard to your hand. If you added 7 roads, you can also add a level 6 or higher spellcaster type monster from your graveyard to your hand. So this is just graveyard recovery. Pitch a trap, which may not be useful right now, out of your hand to add back your spellcasters.
And ideally, you will want to add Magician and likely add Witch.
Also, that's slightly weird
because as we will get to Witch in a
Mark's
moment,
coughing a little bit. He's clearing his throat.
Sorry.
Which has an effect to summon Seven's Road or a level 7 dark attribute spellcaster type monster.
This is that's the thing we talked about, right? Like I mentioned way earlier, you can run generic Dark Magician as like your legend because they key off level 7 dark spellcasters. So there's some synergy there. As there's very clear intent in the typing of Seven's Road to evoke Dark DM. Yeah,
it's not that subtle.
and let's get into it.
I'm taking a glance through level 7 dark spellcasters. We have 17 Seven's Road Magicians. We have Seven's Road Edgy Magician. I don't know if we will discuss him or not.
What's his actual name?
Seven Sphere Magician.
Yeah, no, he's in this list.
Name.
Because he's definitely part of the archetype.
Yeah, they might eventually do Fear.
Yeah, like we've got like a couple of not Endymion cards and like Dark Star Magician and Dark Executor Warlock.
Pretty sure, I'm not sure if it's in Rush Duel, but Astrograph is a level 7 dark.
He was definitely not fucking in Rush.
Yeah, he's not in Rush, but he is part of the same mold that like. Hey, funny enough, Rush I think was started as like the production started as like the 20th anniversary series.
Yep.
And Arc V was the 15 years anniversary series. Funnily enough, we haven't gotten a series announced as the 25th year anniversary series, but we did release that new piece of animation.
Yeah. Speaking of which, Go Rush is the 3rd season, 3rd year.
Yeah, so they're chilling on some stuff.
And the reason why is because apparently everyone loves Go Rush, so they thank the fans.
Yes, they are. That is another thing I want to say. At least Japan, and I think somewhat with the international audience, but definitely in Japan, the series both series, anime series, were fairly popular. And I assume the card game is selling well. But anyway, hey, it's time for definitely the girl one, Seven's Road Witch, who is the red one.
Who is the red one, and the only one, not counting Wiz because we can't see it, whose hair color is not their color.
Yeah. And speaking of this one is just interesting, but it's like first time I saw this card, it's like, oh, this looks sort of like Gaga Girl.
Well, yeah, that's another thing. Is the Gagagas were definitely, at least Magician and Girl, were definitely also supposed to be like stand-ins, because I don't think Zexal wind up with an anniversary year, but Zexal's plot and aesthetics were very much meant to be kind of like a return to form. For like calling back to that old school plot structure. So yeah, the Gagaga parts were definitely supposed to look like Dark Magician and Dark Magician Girl.
Yeah.
And very clearly, Magician and Witch are very clearly meant to evoke DM and DMG, as they are, as Seven's Road is level 7 Dark Spellcaster, and Witch is our level 6 Dark Spellcaster.
She also has like 4 different alt arts. There's the Smug Extra Fire version. And then there's also the Action Shot version, which I'm sure is... Oh yeah, okay, actually, I'll just show this art of the full card art effect of what the art is like, not just the promo. So like this is her other art, which is, her doing an action shot busting out of the card frame.
Yeah.
So, they've got a few going on there. Also, yes, this is an international in Korean. But yeah, so all in all, yes, the card style being, Gaga Girl or Dark Magician Girl-esque, pretty normal. She definitely has a pretty small chain, because I think she's actually got a couple of the links like done up at her neck. So it's only drops down like 4 segments.
Yeah, because it looks like she has like a single one and two to the right, and then the rest of the 4. I do kind of like that. Her stomach cut off is the mirror of Magician.
Yeah, it's the opposite way. And she's got like big long red like scarves as part of the skirt. Like high boots.
Yeah.
I'm not a huge fan of whatever's going on with this staff, because it's got like a weird like film projector ring around it. I'm not really sure how that looks in motion, but otherwise it's a pretty tight design.
I kind of dig it for being weird and kind of unique.
Yeah, it's definitely different. Like, I can't say that like Dark Magician type staffs necessarily make sense. DMG has a pretty normal staff because it's just got the squirrel, but like, what even is Dark Magician staff, right? It's got like the 2 like blades on it, whatever those are, that are kind of shaped like his hat. It's weird. So like, I won't throw too many stones, but it's the only thing about it that says to me like, I'm not sure what the design of this is.
You might have saw her stat line when Omega showed off the full card art. If it might have been obscured by chat. This is a 1600 monster, 600 attack.
It's level 6.
But her effect can change that.
Yeah, so she says send a card from your hand to the graveyard, so discard a card for cost, basically. Special summon 1 level 7 or higher dark attribute spellcaster type monster from your hand, face up to your field. If you special summon Seven's Road Magician by this effect, this card gains 400 attack till the end of this turn. So then she becomes the classic DMG type stat line at 2k. And you get a Seven's Road Magician on the field.
Yeah, and like it is very obvious. Like the main gimmick of Seven's Road is facilitating spellcaster nonsense. But if you do Seven's Road, you are getting bonus effects, and the full suite of cards works pretty well at doing that. Like for being an anime deck, because Rush Duel is starting from 0, it is still fairly competent at doing what it does.
Yeah. So yeah, there's a lot of cycling, and they have some added subtypes later. But I think I just gotta show the card of this because it's. I do want to say we have another kind of interesting member of this squad because they made an official April Fool's Seven's Road Magician.
Oh, did they?
Yes, this is his full name is Strong Boy Sevens Road. Tsuyoi Shonen Sevens Road.
I think that's the
I did
manga
see
one.
that and was wondering what the hell that what was
So
happening.
yes,
there.
it was released for April Fool's Day.
Oh God, it's Funko Pop.
Yes,
He's been
he has been
Fumo'd.
Funko Popeyed. But so the stats and stuff are all the same as regular Seven's Road Magician. It's just he's called Strong Boy. But you gotta listen to this, chat. This effect. Requirement: if you have a monster in your graveyard, send the top card of your deck to the graveyard. So you gotta have a little setup hand time. But then it says, this card gains attack equal to the number of different attributes in your graveyard times 200 until the end of this turn. Then, if
Wait,
your opponent's
okay.
LP are 700 or lower, inflict 700 million damage to your opponent.
I saw that.
He
There's
is
a
a
few-
strong boy.
There's a few joke cards like that.
Yeah.
So basically, overkill them.
Yeah, no.
Just
It's
like there's
unlike the way like promo cards, like championship promo cards work in the TCG, I don't see any text anywhere that this guy's not technically legal. So I think you could play this guy. It's just that once again, if you get it to a point where your opponent's LP are 700 or lower, you could probably win the game anyway and don't need to deal 700 million damage.
If you get strong boy, it's your own fault.
Yeah, that's what we call BMing. Is if your opponent sets up for, but they wouldn't set up because there's no sub replay Friday for Rush Duels. You don't need a table 500 Rush Duel. I mean, I guess you could
Yeah.
back when Farf would do
Eventually.
table 500s off EDO, but yeah, no, it's absolutely just style points. It's very funny, but there is another one that, like I said, is kind of tangentially related. We mentioned it earlier. There is a Sevens Fear Magician.
And he's a weirdo.
Yeah. The reason why I for sure... Oh, is there not a good card art of this? No, it doesn't look like anybody's blown this card art. Yeah, no, that's okay. We'll take the scan. You know, we're dealing with art assets as they come here. But yeah, there's Fear. It's the edgy goth version. But this card definitely needs to be talked about with the rest of this archetype because it has an effect where its name becomes Seven's Road Magician.
Yeah, like it is still a level 7 dark spellcaster.
It's got the same stats.
It can only become Seven's Road on the field, so you will not get the extra bonuses for playing with him. But he can still do funny things.
Yeah.
Look at all those hands.
He's got a lot of hands, and his like he has an axe instead of a sword. I think is what that's happening
Yes,
there.
it looks like
Yeah.
an axe.
Because axes are evil.
I'm sorry, I just see this with all the weird hands and the coloration, and I'm just like this is the Dunskate raid in Final Fantasy XIV.
Yeah, this is the Arcana Dark Magician.
Yeah.
I think
this,
it's definitely
Definitely
the
got those
kind
kinds of vibes with the
intent.
negative image colors.
this is when the hero just turns evil for a day because of a bad day.
Yep.
So
It's
So you had a
fuck
bad
all
day.
this.
the requirement is still send the top card of your deck to the graveyard. This makes its name become Seven's Road Magician for the turn, and also you can target a face-up monster in your opponent's field to lose attack equal to number of different attributes times 300. So it's the attack down effect, and he becomes Seven's Road Magician on the
it's
on the
it's
field.
the same modulation. Just negative, which fits with the negative inverse of Seven's Road. It makes
And again,
sense.
you know, you're if you're playing this out right, you're playing level 7 Dark Spellcasters anyway. It's an okay piece of tech.
You know, I just thought about it. Why don't the Seven Rose Magician cards have like 1400 defense, so all their stats are divisible by 7?
Because they're not. That's not the part that's the 7.
I know.
I mean, they could do that, but I think that's just got to do with the way stats are in Rush Duel. We talked about earlier how like level 4s are actually kind of weak. They're back to like old school OCG rules.
Yeah, like the highest stat line on a non like the highest stat line means 1600, and the biggest effect monsters not even being effects, they are the effigies, the extra tribute boys.
Yeah. So next, let's look at a couple of themed equip cards for this.
The road arms.
Yes, there are 2 Road Arms. Currently used on screen, you see Seven's Lance. And I will grab Sword Breaker for the other one. There's a little bit of a weird, slightly higher quality scan, but we work with them. Anyway, the design is pretty normal. They have the 7 sigil in the back. There's lots of fire. One of them is absolutely a sword breaker. It's got the teeth, and then the other is definitely a lance.
I remember this. This is from
Lance.
Go
I
Rush.
noticed they've got the equip spell.
Now,
signed
both
on
of
there.
them can only equip the Seventh Magician, or technically Fear.
Yes.
I believe, I don't think the requirement checks after equip.
Yeah, it
once
says
it's
it just
been
says
changed.
one face-up 7 roads magician on your field, so it doesn't say original name.
You can also only control one each of the. You cannot have multiple of the road arms on the field.
Yeah. And like I said, you notice they have the equip spell card, down there. They say spell/equip and include the sigil. Swordbreaker's effect, just because that's the tab I have open right now, is the equip monster gains attack equal to the number of equip spell cards on the field times 1,000. It can't be destroyed by trap card effects, so it's kind of like a mage power almost.
It'll at minimum be 1K. Seven's Lance. It's 400.
Yeah, times
It's
attributes.
400 for each attribute in your graveyard.
And then also can't be destroyed by card effects.
Trap
Card effects. Sorry, yes. So both of them have trap protection, which is a little weird because I feel like you would want to play them in sequence because Swordbreaker, but they may have just come up in different circumstances. But yeah, that's honestly this for design space of unique equip cards to a protagonist's ace monster. We've done a lot shittier. A lot shittier cards have been printed in Yu-Gi-Oh! These giving you blanket. You can't be destroyed by traps, and remember, traps in Rush are actually good. You play trap cards in Rush. There are several of them that are actually effective.
Yeah. The worst part of these equips is that they have to equip the Seventh or Magician.
Yeah.
But also, the deck is still competent enough to bring him out that it's not not a deal breaker.
There
but you're probably
is,
playing
as
one
we
at
alluded
most
to
of these.
earlier, even where Axe started this making a joke and we started talking about it, it is possible for these cards to brick in your hand because of how they work. But you could still deck build around that, and it will not be as much of a pain in the ass as you could, especially because several of your cards do say still to discard cards, right? So you can still use them as cost, even without playing them. So,
speak about a lot of the equip spells in Rush tools. They were introduced during the Go Rush era, but a lot of them are specifically tied to certain attributes or types.
that would
Or
make sense
just
because that's
cer-
kind of how the old school equip spells worked. You had stuff like Silver Fangs.
And these cards weren't played by the character Yuga. They were played by this girl character called Goha Yuna, who played Seven Roads because she has a crush over Yuga.
Yeah, isn't
Which
she
is
the
so
one who
weird.
later converts to Celeb Rose, which
Yes.
is a pun that does not translate as well into English, but the phonetics are almost identical. Celeb
Yeah.
Rose and Seven Rose.
And I believe that there are 7 of them in ascending level order. They have they're
Yeah.
very clearly a
And girl deck.
not quite serial numbers filed off, but definitely
Homage deck.
yes.
Yeah, it's like
She is making
Senpai,
her
please
personality
illustrate,
about this.
please.
Yes.
pretty much.
One of those. So
Yeah,
let's talk
it's-
about the road
Hero does
magics.
Yeah,
'cause
well,
they have
and
several
I mean,
ones.
it's even down to the level 1 is Wiz, Celeb Rose Wiz, level 2 is Celeb Rose Mage, and so on
Yeah.
and so forth. They even borrow the same naming schemes of each of the levels being just having the same name. They are just Celeb Rose.
So interesting.
Different
I think
effects.
in the game these were called. This was called. This was officially translated as Dark Twilight, but
Yeah, we have Dark Twilight.
in Japanese, this name is straight up Road Magic Dark Knight. So Road Magic Dark Knight with no K.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is the first of our Road Magic. So this will be the card arts of all of these will feature Seven's Road Magician doing a spells. This one is themed after.
The cost of all these cards will be the same. Just the attribute switches. You have to have a face a level 7 or higher spellcaster monster on your field, and send a whatever the attribute that corresponds to the road magic.
And the dark one will obviously be probably one of the easiest to play because your core archetype is dark. But this says destroy a face-up monster on your opponent's field. So this is just
it's Doomblade.
What's that? Is it dark core? Is discard 1, pop a face-up monster on your opponent's field?
Yeah.
Yeah, like this is old school Yu-Gi-Oh card shit. Alternatively, it's Thousand Knives, but with a extra cost. But it's a cost that makes your deck better, you know?
Yeah.
Because you're pitching attributes to grave. I like this card art though. For the dark attribute spell, it is kind of sinister, but I think that's the point because he's just getting out there with his goopy hands.
Yeah,
Well,
this shows the alternative blue flame ult of Seven.
I don't know if this came. I don't know if this came before or after Seven Sphere, but it's very reminiscent even of Seven Spheres.
It came before.
Little shadowy hands.
And here's why I know this, because it was used by Otis. Because he's the owner of Seven Roads.
Yeah, he gave the Seven Roads, but kind of in like a weird Ring Karibo type situation, he gave the main character of.
But he also has a second copy of it, because of course he does. He's the Arcana plus the Seto combined.
Actually, this is a good question. I don't know about Sevens. Do we address the fact that like normally in card games you have multiple copies of cards?
Yeah, there's a specific thing in this whole thing. It's like, well, you only have one card of this thing, right? And so during the interrupted duel of Otis versus Yuga, they did a duel between Yuga versus Luke, or Ryoga, or whatever he's called.
Yeah.
Where he's like, I turned my identification card into Seven Rose Magician and win the duel. And so then the guy just goes back, like, hey, you don't have that your ID card. If we go into the range of the satellite that picks up on these rush duels, you'll be disqualified. So he only has one of 7 roads.
Yeah, crazy stuff. But so this is our next spell. This is Road Magic Explosion.
He is dropping a spirit ball on you.
You cannot tell me that that nobody who did this art design didn't see Konosuba.
I was also thinking of. It also makes me think of the Therian engine.
It is a little bit like the sprites, but I think this may have been before that. Even
they gave it a face.
Let me check the published date on this.
It's got angry eyes.
Yeah, no, this was a Psycho Jump promo card in early 2020. So this is before Sprite even existed.
Maybe the same artist that Therian cards, honestly.
I mean, it's just it has angry eyes on a fireball. It's not that much like Sprite. It's being called straight up explosion though with a giant fireball. It makes me think of like so this is the fire attribute one, and this may shock you, Chad. Yeah, I'm about to say this is a burn card.
What?
Inflict damage to your opponent equal to the number of cards on their field times 400. So this is also not just a burn card. This is a punish card. This is just desserts or secret barrier.
That's a good
you have 6 cards on the field, 2,400 points of damage.
There are only 6 slots. Well, there's a field spell slot, so there are 7.
Yeah.
There are 7 slots on the board.
2,800's not bad.
Yeah. Especially because the rush is 4K, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
rush. Yeah, rush for Lee Sam is 4K.
I don't remember. I think the physical game is 4K as well because it's designed to be faster paced. But yeah, so that's not nothing to sneeze at, you know, of a big clap. This is kind of like a way that I think lots of burn cards.
Starts with 8K with regular rush duel.
Still,
I mean, still like.
But still, that's 2,800 off the 20.
Yeah. And then you have a different attribute engraved to make your guy bigger.
Yeah.
If you play it 3 times before it's full board,
I don't think so. I think everything is hard once.
Oh.
Yeah, I think a lot of them are hard once. I think they limited cards that you could somehow loop.
Well, if this is like this is your finisher for a burn deck, it's pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think in general the main idea is just that because Seven's Road himself is kind of a big bungus, like his main effect is to become large. The idea is to whittle your opponent's LP down faster so that you can clinch out the game sooner.
Yeah, I think there's only very few cards that are actually loopable in rush duels, and those cards are actually limited because they just like,
Yeah.
hey, no, stop that.
So this is our next one. Again, this was written as backflow, but was translated in, I think, the video game as flowback. This is the water one. He's doing some water stuff. What exactly is he doing with water stuff? I'm not sure, but there's certainly water.
Hey, don't put out the fire on your head, guy.
Be careful, yeah, he's gonna put it out.
Yeah, I was about
The water makes me think of Mercury, honestly. Just like the way it's like moving.
It's liquid water gooping up there. The coloring's a little hard to tell because this is photo scan, but it's nice.
This is Compulse.
Yes, this is return a monster from your opponent's field to the owner's hand for discarding a water. So yeah.
As I mentioned earlier, and actually a fairly powerful one. I don't know if like what good water monsters you're playing in this deck. If it's not water spellcasters, but you probably play this if you can kit bash some water.
Yeah, if you can put enough waters to make it worth it, that you can actually play this card. That's good. That's real good. To put them on blast. As we discussed, like I said, it goes there. So then we'll just
the
keep
white
going.
one is very funny.
We'll just keep on keeping on. Next is Tectonic Shift. Again, very simple to tell what's going on. Seven's Road is doing some earth shit. He's shooting some rock spikes at some guys.
He's jabbing a sword in the ground and causing a little earthquake.
So again, this is the earth one. You discard an earth attribute, and then it says one face-up monster in your opponent's field loses attack equal to the attack of the monster with the highest attack in your graveyard until the end of this turn. This is another
Pretty solid.
OTK type tool.
My brain is looking at this image and just wants to put the fucking soy jack pointing and being like, look, Seven's Road caused Pompeii.
Wow. Okay.
I don't know why.
Are you
but that's what my
okay, Loth? Did you eat some bad toast?
No, I had to deal with my mom and stepdad earlier, so I'm a bit out of it.
No, he didn't call Pompeii. He calls Obsidian. Get it right, Loth.
No, my
the
bad.
Ashen City. All
You
right.
guys sure remember the name of the cards, Dan?
I
But yeah,
remember many card names.
Tectonic Shift, another like all the road magics are pretty solid. Like the worst is probably the fire one because burn damage is always a weird spot.
Yeah.
But it's also a decent at worst it sparks and
Yeah.
and it can get out of hand. It's a punish tool.
Yeah. This is the next one, Tempest. It's the wind one. He's doing some wind. I do like how he looks like he's got one of those clouds just fucking in his grip. He's just, or no, it's like running through his scarf. That's cool, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, he's summoning up some wind. Tempest is actually pretty good. This is basically a position shifter. Change the battle position of up to 3 monsters in your opponent's field, so all of them. Which, by the way,
Stumbling?
well, kind of, but it's also it has a parenthetical. That's right. That's how old school Yu-Gi-Oh! This is. It says attack position becomes face-up defense position. Defense position becomes face-up attack position. They have to specify that this is either or. So yeah, this is just rearrange your opponent's battle position of their entire board if you want.
This is put all your opponent's assholes in attack mode, so you can speed over face.
Or it can be if they have a big guy, you can just be like, all right, you're in defense mode now. Fuck you.
Yeah.
Get out of here.
Yeah, he's got a small ass.
Yeah, and up to 3 is incredible.
Yeah, it's their whole ass board
because it's the entire board, or it's as many. It's the entire board.
Yeah, as many as you need.
It gives you the full choice.
Reminds me of what was that quick spell for Elemental Sparkman? It was Spark Blaster.
Oh yeah, Spark Blaster. You get to change battle
We
positions.
do it 2 times.
Yeah.
It is 3 times. And
Oh, it
it's
is.
destroyed.
Oh, right.
Nice. So this is was translated as Uplifter, but is Resulta. This is the light one.
This is the light one. Take a guess what effect this is.
Yeah, I don't think you guys will guess.
Take a wild guess.
It's, I don't know, honest effect.
You are actually correct.
Yes.
Yeah, fuck you!
Uplifter says one face-up monster on your field gains attack equal to the attack of a face-up, level 8 or lower monster with the lowest attack on your opponent's field. So it is lowest attack, but this is just straight up your guy becomes embiggened by one of your opponent's monsters.
Also, Axe, I am okay. I just guessed correctly. Let me have this.
He's shouting. He's good. He's happy.
Would you rather I not be emotional and happy?
No, it's more. I just don't know why you randomly yelled "fuck you" at someone that wasn't existing.
I yelled "fuck you" at Vesper because I guessed it correctly.
Oh,
My,
okay.
all I
it's-
can see a
it's-
display.
Like with all the other ones being spell cards, it's like the light one adds on. It's 2 years.
Yeah, I just see this card just like, my blade now has the power of the sun. Fuck
Like-
you.
Someone tells me, "Oh, it's a light. It's an effect based on something light related." I'm like, "It's gonna be honest."
It's a good
That's
one.
my go-to thought.
So now, actually, we got an interesting one because they have another spell card, and it's very interesting. We're gonna show you your first semi-limited Rush Duel card.
Oh,
Oh,
This is 7's Wonder Fusion.
yeah, there's a good reason for it because it shuffles cards back.
No, this is a great
Oh.
fusion card. But look at this little guy. Look at him being fused.
Let's see.
This makes
Seventh Road and
We have not seen that guy. It's
Yeah.
so we're gonna talk about their fusion monsters because a lot of them have 7s in their name and all of them use 7's Road as material. 7's Road Magician goes to the Dark Magician school of fusion, which is just we bolt shit onto him. We just take other
Oh.
guys and add 7's Road to them.
yeah. We have one guy who I will call Seven's Road Mechabo.
Yeah, that is actually also the one that is made with this combo. But yes,
What
as
is it?
as Marth said, this is a card that has no requirements. There's no cost to this card. You just do it. Fusion summon by
No.
shuffling monsters from your field and or graveyard into their owner's deck. So if you somehow have stolen an opponent's card, it goes back to their owner as material, including 7's Road Magician. So
Yeah.
this is almost a Tyrant fusion. It just doesn't pop. But yeah, this shuffles back cards in your graveyard in your deck that mills cards to graveyard.
Yeah, there's.
This really is tier limits.
this just
Yeah,
because apparently there was some sort of meta like, oh, I just Seven Wonders Fusion Turbo Go Burr.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I imagine you can just play a bunch of mill cards. Just get all the shit into your graveyard. You're playing all the, because like the main downside of the fusions is that all of them name check specific monsters, which you would think is bad, but in Rush because slower format and just different
Yeah, you just
hit,
throw them back.
we don't care.
Yeah, there's like. I think
also
they're starting to get to less and less like just like named cards in the fusions, but they're still keeping to I think types.
Yeah. And in
Attributes.
usual, also, I do believe that, and people can correct me if I'm wrong, but I do believe that you do still lose if you deck out completely.
Yes.
So actually reloading your deck with a couple cards at a time is still good to like put them back in the tank.
Because there was, yes, they actually brought it up in the Yu-Gi-Oh! Sevens because there was this one guy, I think, called Yuga Goha, who was just like, I have the 60 card deck. They're all like, hey, you're going to mill yourself out if you keep doing this stuff. Like, they think he has 40, so it's like, he says, I have 60, like, gasp.
It's very funny.
I'm a mill deck playing more cards so I don't deck out.
Yeah.
What? You can do that?
And this guy has a reptile deck who's like, yeah, my main ace just says I have infinite attack points.
So, chat, you're going to look at this card, and you're going to be confused. But I assure you, this is a 7's. This man is made with 7's Road. This is Magician of Dark 7's. His monster requirements are 7's Road Magician and also adds Darkness Zerorug. With Darkness, literally an archetype named Darkness, is the main deck used by Otez in 7's anime. So, like,
It's
this
got
is
7
the villain
arc reactors
guy.
or the 7 lightning reactors in there.
um,
So yeah.
Yeah.
who
The fuck
has,
am I looking
by the
at?
way, the names for some of these guys are very funny. You've got Rogue, Sangha, Farce Seeker. It has an extra O in there. And then this is basically, there's a fusion of a in-archetype pure fusion of 7's Road, which is a level 9, who we will talk about next, Master of the 7's Road. Magician of Dark Sevens is also the 9 on the reverse. But yeah, let me
Yeah.
grab Zero Rogues.
Yeah, this guy is just
It
crazy.
it's like a mix between like some kind of like Japanese, like a J-Rock album cover, and then like just some anime final boss.
If I remember right, the release with the anime, they have the Severance Road magician just sticking out of the chest.
Yeah, I think you can see him just a tiny little bit there, but yeah. So this is Zero Rogue on your right side here. Just a guy, a Digimon even.
Yeah.
Yeah,
how
that is a
does-
Digimon.
How does the Seventh Road make a giant Thunder Dragon Colossus kind of asshole? I don't know.
Does anyone
we
else look
eat
at the-
a guy.
Fusion monster and just think it looks like a bunch of zippers put together.
It is kind of like a weird mecha skeleton, so yeah. But it's got the 7 rings all spread out. It's got the dark fire. I do also want to say, while he does look like a Digimon, this guy also looks a lot like Chaos Numbers with like the weird, like bright.
I was gonna say it
maroon,
reminds me of the
hot
Barian.
pink circles. Yeah, Varian vibes.
Varian.
Definitely. So yeah, there's some
so-
interesting stuff going on.
Immediately, my first thought is, I know who exactly the guy on the right is. His name is Duskborn.
You have to give me an image of Dusk.
I'm pretty sure it's coming. There he is. Yes, Duskmon. Yeah, I remember this guy.
Kinda. I don't actually. I don't actually know.
The
Duskmon.
eyeballs.
Even down to the eyeball on his chest.
Yeah, so Magician of Dark Sevens is a level 9 Dark Spellcaster Fusion. That's right, this is still a Spellcaster.
Bullshit!
I mean, the guy's casting
has-
Dark Lightning.
He just has
Okay,
a
found the
continuous
image.
effect.
Yeah.
No requirement.
Oh, wait.
Which,
Sorry,
by the
let me
way,
just say
is
this.
called out. Go ahead, Loth.
It's a mix of Duskmon and Alphamon for those who know
Yeah.
Digimon. That's what on the right is.
Oh, by the way, also we should say, it's a level 9, and it's 2800 attack, 2600 defense. So decent stats. Its requirements, as we said before, 7's
It's-
Road and Dirk is Rogue, exactly.
Sorry, Marv posted an image from the, I can only assume the anime. Is that fucking Seven's Road just on top of whatever the fuck the,
Yeah.
Yes.
face
Yes, yes.
on the
Yeah, he
chest
mentioned that
plate is?
earlier.
They
That's
were
just his chest.
dueling
He's
in
so
space in the
tiny.
final episode.
That's
So
stupid.
small in there. He's so whittle. But
Pilot.
yes,
He's
as-
just becomes the arc at that
As
point.
Vesper
I mean,
has
yes.
said, this just says continuous effect. So continuous effects are specified they are labeled in Rush. And its continuous
Yeah.
effect is this card gains attack equal to the number of dark attribute spellcaster type monsters in your graveyard times 300. You take no
Yeah.
battle damage from battles involving your other monsters.
So it says, hey, come at me, bro.
Yeah, this is just a big guy. And I believe the darkness subtype are also spellcasters, but they are mostly about having just dark attributes. So kind of,
Oh,
they're related
darkness.
inverse. But yeah, no, this guy is like, this is a slapper. It's not a perfect boss monster. It has no protection on its own, from other effects going on there. I don't know how widespread protection is in Rush, but there are some cards that do have that reaction, right? But it does mean that you can still keep summoning guys and don't have to worry about your opponent poking them, and is a very large man. So let's look at a card which is probably more normal in this matchup. Because they have, as I mentioned earlier, the in-archetype fusion, which is the Master of the Sevens Road.
Who is magician and witch?
Yeah.
A fusion.
And there he is. This
Learn
is
how to
him.
cover up his chest.
Yeah,
I
he's
think
got. I
he
mean, he's
grew
got
up
both
like-
halves.
I think he's like 5 years older.
Oh, he's just taller because he's been hitting the gym. But you'll notice still got the belt buckle, but got some extras. But the middle one is filled up with all the different colors. Also got some extra little colored
look like
bits.
even the ones on his side, it does have the shades going down.
Oh yeah, it looks like they've got like colored glass in them almost. Sword is different and is much shinier. It now has that kind of like star recurring symbol inside it.
He has the other 6 colors and like little gem kind
Yeah.
of like amulets floating around him.
This is his final form.
Yes. I mean, I joked about the Digimon part earlier, but like I'm pretty sure this is how a season of at least one, if not multiple seasons of Digimon ended. There's one mostly human guy with a big sword, and then one weird freak show chaos dragon guy at the end.
Yeah.
Work together to end the
You know.
fight some kind of. Like,
Yes, I
actual
remember Diabolmon's Revenge.
Pretty much. Yeah.
But yeah, there's many things here. But yeah, no, he's looking great. He's living his best life.
Once again, another continuous effect.
Yeah.
As mentioned, this was a level 9.
Yeah,
right?
This is the 9. Has,
He's a
by the way,
3K.
3K attack, yes, and 2100 defense. No requirement, just continuous effect, which is just gains attack equal to the number of dark attribute spellcaster type monsters with different names in your graveyard times 300. So he gains attack also. But if you have 7 or more dark attribute spellcaster type monsters in your graveyard, this card gains piercing.
Yep.
Honestly, if you're doing it right, you probably will have that condition. Easily.
I mean, yeah, that's the other Seven's roads, right? So this is the
I
end of the road.
I do like that it says piercing and then describes piercing in a parenthetical.
Yes.
Just so we know.
Just to be clear.
It's like,
Also, I like how it says if it attacks a defense position monster, where rush duel effects are so simplified that they've gone back pre-PCST in some cases, because I assume piercing is a rare effect, whereas in the TCG and OCG they were just like,
yeah.
fuck it, we got to save card space, we just got to say piercing and look in a book.
Yeah, I think it's because most of the piercing effects are given to cards based on certain requirements and having a certain spell card called piercing or super piercing. So yeah, it's
so
like,
this is the ultimate guy, and so yes, no, just a continuous effect to gain a lot of attack, and also to if you've got your graveyard set up correctly, which you probably do, to just get piercing. Solid.
I'm actually going to look up Rush.
So the next fusion we'll actually show off is the card that is being fused in the card art. I don't have the full blow up, but here's the fusion monster itself. It's 7 Chariots, the Magical Knight.
Also, as I joked, this is a 7's Road Mechaba.
Yeah.
Because it's just...
It is.
And the other card this is fused with is this guy, who is called
Magium's Beast Gear Pard. I think I said that right.
Magiarm's Beast Gear Pard.
That,
so
that
these are
is
the two
also
bits.
just a Digimon.
It's a lot of things. But yeah,
Chariot.
this is fun because like it is just Seven's Road riding in a chariot with this other guy, but you know his battle cat has been upgraded. He's got new bits.
Honestly, I enjoy that because they make the fusion say more specific now, that they can just have be more dumb and fun with it.
Yeah.
I
Well,
mean,
we
there's-
also have
literally,
our
it's literally
first-
these two guys together.
I mean, there are several even modern Yu-Gi-Oh fusions that are like that. It's just usually they still make them.
Yeah, the
generic.
Dark Magicians.
Dog Magicians.
This is our first multi-choice effect.
Yeah.
with this guy.
And again, level 9, 3K attack, 2500 defense, so still decent stats for this. A lot of them are going to hover around that 3K mark, I think.
Yeah.
So this still has a requirement. You still got to send the top card of your deck to the graveyard, but you get to pick which bullet point you want to use. Either this card gains attack equal to the number of cards in both players' spell and trap zones until by 500 until the end of this turn. So that's a maximum of, because you can have up to 6. That's a maximum of 3K if all the spell trap zones are loaded.
So this guy gets huge.
Or this card can't be destroyed by your opponent's card effects this turn. Then you can destroy face-up cards in your opponent's field equal to the number of cards in your spell trap zone. So either it gets huge, or it gains a protection effect and pops.
Yeah, fair.
Solid
yeah,
card.
this showed up in Go Rush where Yuga just dies to the main antagonist of a of an arc. It's
And
just like,
I believe that the Magi arms in general have a putting monsters in your spell trap zone effect.
if I remember
Yeah,
correctly,
that's
the
some
guy
decent
who
cards.
beat him played this archetype that was called Abyssals, which was pretty much
Oh,
Mermel's
like-
plus the other guys.
I don't think there's a Magi Arms archetype. This is just be one guy.
Yeah.
Oh, it's just his thing? Yeah, I guess it is. I guess there's not an archetype series in the traditional sense, but yeah, Magic Arms has the
he
ability
has an
to
effect because in your spell and trap zone gear part, but I don't know how he's getting there.
Yeah, I'm not sure. It is an Earth spellcaster, so like it has, and it's level 7, so it has some synergy. But yeah, it's a
Maybe
weird
they
one.
will do it later.
I'm sure there are cards that did it in the anime, but currently it is just gear part that is by himself in the Rush format.
Yeah, it's only Magic Arms in the anime too.
Oh, also, I don't think we mentioned this guy is a magical knight type.
Oh yes, right. And so is our next
what?
guy as well. Yeah, this is the thing that they do. They actually do fusion types, which are different. Seven Chariots is called the Magical Knight, Madokishi.
Which I was gonna say like Shidan or something.
Yeah,
Like,
Madokishi is which is a way that the old school Yu-Gi-Oh has always referred to these type of guys, but they are usually either spellcasters or warriors. So Rush Duel is just like, fuck it, Magical Knight is its own type. As is this guy. This is Seven Road's Paladin, or Seven's Paladin.
Yeah,
Magical Knight, Seven's Paladin.
just
It's a magician and swordsman of Roadstar.
That's actually re-looked at Magic Arms. Does not actually go into your spell and trap zone. It just gets effects from spells and traps.
Then it's very weirdly worded.
Yeah.
That's wrong. Sorry, I'm trying to grab Swordsman of Roadstar, but it wanted to save as. Here we go. Copy image.
Alright,
Seven's of Roadstar. He's a vanilla. He's just a guy.
Yeah.
He's just a dude.
He's a cool dude. He looks like he's from fucking Kirby, but he's just a guy.
I do really like.
It's just.
I do.
Wait, sorry. It's also just a Metapod.
Yeah. He's been chibified.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I just like this.
So Paladin is just Rhodes Magician is wearing that guy as a cosplay. Basically, he's got little big boot feet. He's got a little robot tail.
Yeah.
He's even his Gremlin energy is off the charts.
Yeah.
His sword has evolved into a 7-notched blade.
Yeah. He's got like the claw gauntlets now, which with the blue fire. It's a good look. This is another Magical Knight type, level 9. Only 2,900 attack, but 2,400 defense. Is another multi-choice effect. Send the top card of your deck to the graveyard. This card gains attack equal to the number of different attributes in both players' graveyards times 400, or shuffle a monster from your graveyard into the deck, then draw a card.
Yeah, there's a whole lot of these multi-choice effects and whatnot came about because of bullshit anime reasons. It's like, hey, my sister broke this printer machine and tried to stop my fan-made manga that she just wanted to embarrass me by. So to create the Loopman, which created the fusion cards, which started raining down on everyone.
I will also say, I think in general, it's a good, because Rush Duels is so regimented, it's good to expand eventually into multiple choice effects, but also keep them very clearly defined as like, here's your multi-choice effect. Pick one of these bullet points.
But
no, this is a good card effect.
The most bullshit thing about that is like they had even in the rule books of at Goha Corp about certain special things about cards coming into your deck from the outside. So it's like, hey, there's like I think it's called like Regulation 6, Section 6, Paragraph 6.
That sounds like a great rule to have in the anime, to just be prepared for when weird shit happens.
It's like, well, this thing happened, so
All right. So our Seven's Paladin is just a good guy. Both of those effects are good because he can either get very large or he can reset your deck a little.
Yeah. They're both good effects. Extra advantage if you need to extend or become large.
So this is our next one. Seven's Gios, the Magical Dragon Knight, which is a fusion between Seven's Road Magician and Multi-Strike Dragon Dragiass, which...
you mean Odd Eyes Dragon knockoff?
Honestly, no. He doesn't look that much like an Odd Eyes.
Ironic, Multi-Strike actually uses a finisher.
Very funny.
Multi-Strike's a very good card, because I think he was one of the better cards you could get in the game.
Yeah. He kind of by himself made dragon decks.
yeah.
Strike Dragon is also a series.
There is also a very funny alternative Draggy S where he's chewing on an ice pop.
Yeah, he played played by Luke, which is that guy.
Yeah.
That looks much better on the right before they add random armor bits to him.
Yes.
And
It's the Sevens Road armor.
The sub
It's stupid.
chant for Dragius is just dumb. It's like, there's a reason why I said it twice.
Yes. But yeah, the character, nicknamed Luke is part. He's one of the major characters.
It's low res, but here is the ice pop alt part.
Yeah, he's just eating an icicle. But
It's
yeah,
just very silly.
this is just the two of our main characters wombo combo. It's not quite like Dragon Master Knight level, but this is the I can't believe they haven't made this. This is the Dark Magician standing on Blue Eyes White Dragon type card. So it's another magical knight.
You can kind of see Seven's Road is wearing beefier armor, and his sword now has the dragon orb in it.
Yeah, he's got his Konami orb added. This is a level 10 fusion, which is 3k25. Its requirement is if your opponent has a level 7 or higher monster on their field, you then send a card from your deck to the graveyard. Multi-choice effect, either you can gain attack equal to the number of different types in your graveyard times 700 and can make 2 attacks on monsters, or you destroy all face-up cards on the field. So this is
Black
either
Rose.
a Black Rose type, board wipe, or it's a, gain a lot of attack and double attack. So long as your opponent has a big boy on the field. But again, you're arguably playing an OTK deck, so you will still get in there. And then I think this is our last one, their last fusion. But this is actually related to a card we mentioned earlier, so let me see if I can... Is there a bigger art for this one? No, it does not look like it.
I believe we just have the one more.
Yes, I believe so, unless I've missed one. But this is Transamuro Doreniak.
Oh, yeah.
Just let me actually grab the guys first. And then that's what it looks like. And then this is fused with Seven's Road and Transamu Reniak.
Now Rhynac.
Yes. Toranzamu Reniaku.
What type do you guys think this one is?
They're probably not going to guess because shit's about to get weird.
They may not, but just why not?
I'm saying Galaxy, but I already know because Go Rush.
I really like the way this looks. The
Yeah.
fucking Space Samurai. Or I guess Space Ronin. Would have been better put it.
Reniak.
Star.
But yes, the type question is cheating because both Transamu Reniak and Transmorode Reniak are Galaxy type because they are. Also, by the way, not an extra deck type only.
Well,
As we
I
described,
believe
Transamu
Mastermind the
is.
same way.
Yes.
I think it's just that they introduced more types
Yes.
into
Yeah.
because they could.
But there are a lot of their fusion cards have those fun types like Magical Knight, but also they just straight up have Galaxy as a type in
Fun
the main deck.
Fact, they've introduced new Wonders Fusion for Galaxy type only. Actually, Dark Galaxy type only.
Interesting.
I should see what Galaxy decks exist. I should be fun.
But Transamorodo is a light level 9 Galaxy fusion, so kind of bucking the trend a little. It's Rainiac plus 7's Road. Its requirement is send the top card of your deck to the graveyard. It says special summon a Galaxy type normal monster from your graveyard face up to your field, aka Transamu. Then make all Galaxy type monsters you control or on your field gain attack equal to the number of different attributes in both players' graveyards times 300. So it's just it extenders.
Yeah.
it will get Rhynac back on the board, and both guys will become big.
Yeah. So all in all, Seven's Road, very distinct style. You guys can can see how it harkens to the classical, Yu-Gi-Oh vibes. It's got that thing that a lot of people are looking for in archetypes in the TCG and OCG, which is like, this reads like old school Yu-Gi-Oh. We can identify this as Yu-Gi-Oh, but also, has its own very particular themes and vibes. I do kind of think it's interesting to, do these points of comparison. Like, we have to answer these questions like, oh yeah, what is the best level 4? Well, it might be Rainiac, with a level 4 with 1600, flat. The Rainiac is their equivalent of like, Mech Knight Avram.
There are legends that, like, Alexander Dragon is a legend, but you can only play one of it, so it's not going to like destroy the game balance or something.
It's never going to break the meta like just releasing Mechanical Chaser does, kind of a thing.
Yeah, looking at it, we have a handful of 1900 bunguses: Alien Shock Trooper, Vorse Raider, Archfiend Soldier, Luster Dragon, and Gemini Elf.
Not bad.
Classy
they
guys.
Do that. They had, I know with Blue Eyes they have to just release like Effect Monster to become Blue Eyes, just to get that ultimate eye.
Yeah, I assume that Red Eyes works the same because there's an actual Red Eyes archetype in Rush, but Red Eyes Black Dragon himself is a legend.
I think a lot of his cards that he fuses with are actually non-legend.
Okay, so they do some wombo combo stuff, but yeah, there's a lot interesting going on in Rush. I like a lot of people, like most Yu-Gi-Oh players look at a Rush card and understand how it breaks down and are like, this is neat, this is cool. I wish that our effects in the normal game were like this clean cut.
It is still legitimately bizarre to me that the TCG refuses to adapt the bullet point effect text, because that's in regular OCG Yu-Gi-Oh as well.
Yeah, the OCG format with numbered bullets is so good. I don't know if they're concerned that they would have to, like, because they haven't done it, they would have to do PCST2 basically and like reprint so many cards. But you did that anyway. You can do it again and just don't reprint cards. And that would give a reason to do sets like fucking Battles of Legend Volume 1, Hidden Arsenal Chapter 1, and like reprint cards that nobody cares about but could use this kind of errata.
Okay.
But yeah, the Rush is very clean cut. Rush is also not like perfect, like I said. We've noticed they've added back in parentheticals that are not existing in the OCG and TCG because we are like literally reintroducing the concept of like piercing and shit like that, right? So like or defining like how changing battle position works. So like it's still a game that's relatively young and does a lot of different things, but it's fun, and I do just in general think that it's got kind of like that. It's got a little bit more of that old school, lowercase m magic of Yu-Gi-Oh in it, with like, oh, some of these guys, the fusions are magical knights, and that doesn't matter because there's not literally 10,000 cards, so it doesn't matter that you made up a new type to like handle this kind of thing, right?
Yeah.
And that's cool. Obviously, I think that like the TCG is still doing really interesting things. You know, we're talking about there's going to be that new tri-type that's explicitly, you know, insect plant, and they added reptiles to that mix.
The Raikas, right?
Raika.
Yeah, Raika. And then that thing they did with, like, what's his face? Psychic Processor, like, building the Psychic Machine Cyber's tri-type. Like,
yeah.
We do cool things, and the TCG has ways of balancing this out, but there's a lot of just imagination in Rush Duels, and I don't know how easily they can pull it off with the old school style card design, but I absolutely would love to see some of those full card arts or those card arts that break out of the border in the TCG, right? Like, I'd love to see some of those splashier effects instead of just like, yes, we put a light foiling over this card, but we creased it so it forms a pattern of waves, like the ocean. It's an ocean secret rare, and I'm like, cool.
Yeah.
The only secret rare with a special pattern that needs to exist is the holographic one, is the hieroglyphic one. Everything else is just, we made it look slightly different in the light. Neat. I mean, Starlight Rares are pretty good, but they're like, it's there's so many types that are trying to do this stuff.
Yeah. Right, Rush Duels have rarity foils. I think they did do gold, but then again, that's easy to do.
Yeah, gold foils are nice. I mean, like, I've talked about this before. I don't think we need to go as crazy as Pokemon does. Like I said, they literally have, like, you know, rainbow, like, foil arts and other stuff like that. Not that that wouldn't be very funny, given that one community meme Yu-Gi-Oh, you know, big gay dragon, and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But it's not necessary to do the rainbow foil and some of the other kinds of, like, weird foilings. We already have this problem regularly on Fail Portrayal when we talk about cards, and we're like, yeah, this guy was only printed as, like, a parallel secret rare, so you would literally never see this card detail in real life, kind of a thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, okay, that's a different thing.
But yeah, so this is the bulk of Seven's Road. I think it's a good little look at some stuff. You know, it's good to step outside our boundaries and look at some new things and kind of, like, you know, see what other vibes are going on.
Like, Rush still really has a bunch of cool aesthetics and just in general some cool things going on. Like, it's just a really it's a really fun. Like, I don't want to call it alt format because I mean it's its own whole thing.
It is, yeah. It's a literally different game with its own.
I would say
modulation
alternative game mode, or I guess.
Yeah, it's a new product in this universe. You know, it's a full blown spin-off game, and it's fairly solid. Like I said, you know, talking about different aesthetics, I think there are several like neat archetypes in Rush. You know, there's stuff with like electric guitar stuff going, like band girls.
Yeah.
They turned like red and blue medicine into like a weird archetype that even has like extra deck like space. That's real cool.
Their newest archetype they introduced, I think, is called Love Goddess or something.
Okay, yeah, like they're doing their own things that, and I do not assume those are going to cross back over.
Oh my god, I need you to do me a favor. Get me the Bladed Quill. I'm going to sign this in blood that if they release this in the West ever, I'm financially stable enough to say that I will buy at least a handful of packs of each set they release of Rush.
I mean, you know, call up Konami. Yeah, there's a baseball archetype.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, like, it's cool. I mean, like, I would certainly be interested in at least maybe buying singles of Rush if it came over, like I said, because Red Eyes is a viable deck in Rush, and I'm astounded that, like, somehow the guys in Rush got the good Red Eyes support after trying it for, like, 10 years in the OCG.
Yeah, they also gave Harpies their own cards in Rush, including a Maximum monster.
Yeah, is that like a variation on Sisters?
I was about to ask.
Yeah, it is.
That's nice. That's a good way to handle it.
I think it's a level 6 like Maximum monster.
666.
Yeah, Harpy and Rush Duel series. Oh, okay. So they actually like, yeah, they have different names for some of the girls that are fully unique.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Regina.
it's cute. Regina, Cara, Cielo. That's cute. They got stuff going on. There's a Harpy Pet Master, which is Harpy Lady with the dragon. See, like I said, there's a lot of creative shit going on here. Why don't you do this?
And then also Cyber Dragon's got their own shit.
Yeah, like it, and that to me says that like I expect that means that like if you brought these over to like obviously Speed Duel has this too. There's fucking Harpy support cards, you know, and like there's skills that support Harpies and Amazons and stuff. But like the thing about Speed Duels is they don't print brand new cards for it. They do like add newer cards to the Speed Duels pool, but I don't think there are any other than maybe they may have caught like some old weird vanillas. I don't think there are cards that are in Speed Duels that aren't also like part of the normal card pool for the TCG. You know? So, like, I think that there's still that market for Rush. So I guess we'll see. You know, we talked earlier at the start of this about those rumors of, like, is Speed Duel over? Are we going to jump the Synchro line? Because, like, let's be real. We just talked about it. If you brought over Rush Duel, you don't have to cross the Synchro line yet. There's no Synchros in Rush.
And I doubt there will be.
Probably not, unless they. I mean, that I think the game will keep going because it's successful after Go Rush ends. I don't know if they're planning a third Rush themed anime. Overall, I know they're producing more seasons of Go Rush. I don't know if they're going to do a new, starting at episode 1, new series. Because I think previously Konami has said, out there.
Because it's been going strong since 2020?
Yeah, so they've done a few.
Yeah.
Oh.
So it's neat. And like I said, we'll see with Konami. I think that as usual, Konami is always in a swarm of these little cuts of controversies. We are officially in the Tier 0 format, right?
Not a bad one.
I mean,
It's not as miserable as the people talk about cash and
yeah, that's what I was gonna say. It's miserable if you don't have $1,500 to spend.
Yeah, the major thing with the Tier 0 format is just the cost of the best deck.
The Sinful Spoils cards are all really new and were printed at high rarity, so they are
on fire.
yeah.
And the Fire King core of Snake Eyes Fire King is not absurd.
No,
because
but,
it is kind of structured deck cards, but
Dia
when the rest
Bellstar
of
hasn't
your
been
deck-
reprinted. All the Sinful
Yeah.
Spoils haven't been reprinted, and the Snake Eyes. Bonfire, has only the one printing. Poplar literally just came out, right? He's also a brand new card from a
Is
set.
there there's no budget counter meta card, counter meta deck, right?
Maybe Voiceless Voice. Though some of those are new enough that they are not. But in general, no, I don't think there's. Let me actually.
I don't know.
Where? Let me look at the wheel for Vegas. What decks made top cut? If I can find it easily. That's a YouTube video. Don't want to click that. I can see the graphic, but unfortunately, the person who posted the wheel is probably a Twitter/X account, so I will not be fucking finding them on Google.
I think I know.
Let me.
I can probably find it real quick. Give me a moment.
Yeah, but it's over 70% either straight up Snake Eyes, which is good in its own right, or the bigger and badder version is Fire King Snake Eyes.
Yeah, here's the 3v3. He's got top 8, top 16. Is there more? Here's just the top 8, which is it's basically just all Fire King. Or it's all Snake Eyes and
yeah, but there's yeah, this is how it shook out. There's one Rescue Ace, which Rescue Ace Snake Eyes is a variant as well. But guess what? That's also really expensive because all the Rescue Ace cards have only been printed once. It looks like
funny.
Go ahead.
Very funny seeing the Voiceless Voice getting as many tops as it did, seeing as glancing through a lot of the features of the tournament, there were copious misplays among some of the Voiceless Voice pilots.
Yeah, it's a brand new deck. People are trying it out, but VV is actually a good deck. It's got has been getting meta results that have been creeping up in the OCG. Yeah. It looks like the budget counter meta pick is Flu. There's one Flu in the top 8 at the 3v3, and that is a deck that is dirt cheap. Is Fluanderees plus I think mainly the cost is going to be in Dimension Shifters.
Yeah.
That said, that means you have to be playing, the Dimension Shifter deck, which has its own, frustration. So, it's not an awful meta. It's just going to be a very high-budget meta until they, announce our yearly reprints. When we've got tins or some other reprint sets, that's probably going to include, Dia Bellstar, reprints, going to get some of the other guys in there. You might see, you probably will see Little Knight in the yearly tin reprint. Or maybe if we get another maximum gold and shit like that. So it's not the worst. Snake Eyes is a really interesting deck. I played against Loth playing pure Snake Eyes. I think I mentioned a couple weeks ago or last week. It's a really interesting resource loop, but it's not unbeatable. They just kind of go. The main thing is as MBT actually talked about in a video where he actually did a 10-minute think piece on should you be playing Ash Blossom right now. But like the problem with Fire King Snake Eyes is those are two completely separate axes of extension that do not necessarily cancel each other out, but allow you to usually go, if your opponent blocks one of your plays, you have enough gas to play the other half of your deck, and if you get to pull off both, your opponent is cooked.
Yeah.
So,
Like, I know
they're
that,
spicy.
like, the Fire King's Snake Eye can play through Droll because it's just like, hey, I special summon from deck. I don't care about drawing.
Well, and even Voiceless Voice and Snake Eye can play around Droll somewhat decently just by setting cards to the field from deck. They're not adding. So
Yeah.
so like Voiceless Voice is likely some form of top deck, and while yes, Snake Eyes is the deck to build around, when even the off meta stuff can beat Droll, or can play around Droll becomes just a less powerful hand trap in the format. But there's going to be a wide mix of bullshit going on, provided there is not an emergency ban list soon.
I do believe we are in ban list season. Like, people are making joke predictions. I think this is, going towards March. We're getting close to, like, the time when Konami should be releasing the next ban list. The problem with TCG ban lists is I feel like we get one of two. Either we get, like, a fucking killer of a list where they're just, like... And this won't happen because, like, Poplar literally just came out. But, like, it would be, like, Poplar to 1. Sinful Spoil Snake Eyes to 1. Shit like that which would absolutely hamstring the deck. Or you get shit like let's see, other than Super Heavy Samurai, what was like the best deck last format? Pearly?
Pearly.
Yeah, like they do a Pearly hit even though Pearly is nowhere near the top cards. They do another Fluandereeze hit even though Flu isn't actually that good, Like,
yeah. It's like Rent is like they fired shotgun from like
it's better than
the
Master Duel ban lists, which are just, we will do everything in our power to avoid banning a UR.
Yeah.
What was the latest list I just did?
It was
it's not super great, but
It was next to nothing.
Mostly it was unlimits.
They
Yes.
unlimited King of the Swamp.
Branded opening to 1.
Yeah, so Branded opening to 1, Water Enchantress went to 2, Soul Piercer went to 2, Parallel Exceed to 2, King of the Swamp unlimited, Meow Meow Moo unlimited, which is probably going to be a pain in the ass.
They
some people
moved Branded opening from 2 to 1.
Yeah, I think someone talked about Parallel Exceed. It's like, hey, it's sort of like the Destiny Hero guy situation where if you don't have 2, it doesn't work.
Yeah, the card doesn't do anything if it's a 2. I will admit, I do think Parallel Exceed is a card that is like fucking everywhere.
Yeah.
Like, it's in a lot of decks, a lot of strats these days run the Exceed package, so like maybe limiting that and making it less appealing will cut down on the consistency of some decks. But
the best thing from this list is Prank Kids Meow Meow Mew's coming off.
Yes, that'll be super fun.
By Prank Kids.
I also want to say I have actually played the new solo mode. It finally happened. It was Eldritch, as we've been predicting for so long. The Eldritch lore is basically where we understood it. The alchemists on specifically a weird island started putting corpses in their magical alchemy potion. This was bad.
Yeah.
They do specify that Eldritch himself was a guy who came to this island looking for gold, and he was just such a sociopath that he wasn't turned into a zombie. He became a pimped out skeleton instead.
My greed overpowered the darkness.
Yes. I do want to say it's a very interesting solo mode in that I don't think any of the decks you use are bad. I do not like this solo mode because it reminds me how unfun Eldritch matchups are. The mirror with Eldritch is miserable.
Yeah, I did not like the vampire one. It was like way too much vampire.
Also, I want to say...
The gold within shines brighter than the gold outside.
Yes, thank you, Loth. Also, I want to say, they do this dumb thing where Unizombie is jammed into every deck, but just as a extra foolish burial, literally you don't... They make you play like Zombie World Doom King Balderok like Eldritch, you have no synchros in your extra. Literally none of them. It's just 3 copies of like every good zombie link, and then like they make you play 3 copies of the Eldritch Fusion, and it's bad.
They don't. I don't
Yeah,
really
I think
understand. I really don't get that Eldritch is actually a decent synchro card.
I played the Fusion Eldritch just to build up the computer.
The Fusion guy is good in that limited context, but yeah, no, you don't need 3 copies of Sucker and Fascinator in every single zombie deck, y'all.
Well, that's a 1 or 2 most of the time.
They jam 3 copies of Avenged Savior as just your generic zombie link too, even though you already have Sucker, and it's like, guys, you've put the whole fucking like Gozuki Mezuki Unizombie line in here, and you have no Zombie World themed synchros. What's wrong with you?
Where's Red Eyes? Where's the Red Eyes synchro?
Red Eyes Necro, Immortal Dragon, Skeleton Felgrand. All those new zombie synchro guys are good. I don't know why they didn't. Maybe it's because they're only available in a structure deck in
still fits there,
but like it's so weird.
I need to go back and double check.
That's like a good structure.
It's just weird because, like, on the one hand, they do show off how flexible Eldritch is, but like I said, they have very, very badly designed extra decks, and like I said, just playing against Eldritch decks is miserable going first or second. Because, like, they're playing all the bad Eldritch cards, but because it's a loner deck, you don't have Feather Duster, so you just, like... I don't think any of those decks are playing any fucking Spell Trap removal other than, like, single pops. It's a weird time. It's not the worst solo mode by far because they gave you good cards. It's just like I said, I did not have fun playing those matchups because like I had to play against Eldritch like 5 times.
And then there was Eldritch. And I had to laugh when they put in Eldritch the Sacred Beast deck.
Yeah, the AI decks are dumb, but because they have Eldritch in them, they work. Like they're examples of the Eldritch Copium. You've got fucking Eldritch plus Sacred Beasts, which works
and then
somehow.
There was Eldritch, and then just like Trap Monster Turbo.
Yeah. But yeah, so like we're keeping up on stuff, but we're over the 2 hours. Thank you so much for tuning in, everybody. We'll skedoodle on out of here, figure out some other stuff to do. But we've had a fun time. We'll wind up a new poll for March, so if you're not a Patreon supporter, or if you are, check in. This means that our next one should go back to our regularly scheduled deck build pack programming, which should be Exorcister, unless I'm misremembering terribly.
I think that's right.
So that'll be a fun time to talking about counter meta decks. So yeah, I hope you had a good time. We'll see you guys next time, and keep your eyes peeled for anything coming out of Konami about Rush Duel. Like I think. That's one of the things that everybody says, Konami, why haven't you released Rush Duel in the TCG markets?
Like, I get with Speed Duel that they didn't want to double dip, but the way Speed Duel is, I want to say petering out, but like we don't know. We'll see.
Plus they tried showing it in Duel Links, so come on.
It's in Duel Links. They released the other card, the digital version over here. Why not? But all right, we're going to pack up. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Loft will attack a sandwich on Mike. But we're going to get out of here. Now Loft has sheepishly muted. It's okay. We're wrapping up. It's fine. Thanks so much, though, for everybody tuning in. We'll see you next time for more. And also, stay tuned for tomorrow's Final Fantasy XIV stream, where hopefully the plan is to just... We did the trial series. We're done with all the weapons. We're just going to fucking powerbomb... patch quests until we get to Endwalker, hopefully. So see you then. Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Sorry, I didn't mean to...